Hello everybody, and welcome to another Adam Gibbs mini adventure. Not much of an adventure though, because I'm stuck indoors again. Okay, this video I'm going to be talking about light again. Now, some of you may recall I did a video several weeks ago about light, and everybody seemed to like it, so this is kind of the second video in that series. I've been meaning to put it together for a while, but I just haven't got round to it. Before I do that though, I just want to toot my own horn. I received this in the mail yesterday. It's a trophy, and this is a trophy for second place winner in the International Landscape Photographer of the Year Awards. I know it's a bit of a mouthful. So I was really happy about that. It was a total surprise, so you know, it's always great to win contests. So they sent me a trophy, thank you very much, and also this lovely book with all the winning images. So if you're looking for some inspiration, it's a really nice book. It's got some awesome pictures in there. Right, enough of that. Why don't we get right into this video? Now, if you watched my last video, you may recall I covered a number of different things. First of all, I gave you a little bit of a history into my photography and where it's kind of taken me, and why I use or search out the light that I do right up to today. Then I also gave you kind of an example of an image that kind of really was the catalyst into me thinking about or realizing how important light really is. And then lastly, there was an image that kind of gave you an example of contrast in light and also contrast in color. Okay, in my first video, I talked about how much I enjoyed photographing in subdued light, primarily overcast days where the light is quite soft. And the reason being is that it allows me to take photographs pretty much all day. The problem with that type of lighting is it's not terribly dramatic. It's great if you're photographing more contemplative photographs, or you want to concentrate more on composition. Even though I enjoy that light, there are other types of light that I'm always on the lookout for, and the one I want to talk about today is backlighting. One type of lighting that I just absolutely love, and I'm always on the search for it, is backlit situations. Photographers have been using backlighting for many years, especially portrait photographers. A lot of photographers use what's called rim lighting, which is more or less the same as backlighting. And the idea is that you would put a light behind your subject or behind their head, and it creates this beautiful rim of light around their hairline. And the reason why they do that is it really separates the subject from the background, gives it this nice glow. And it's the same with landscapes or close-ups or anything like that. If you have that kind of rim lighting around your subject, then it really makes that subject stand out. Okay, now this example here, my apologies because I've used this a couple of times now in my videos, but I absolutely love this photograph. And it's not necessarily because it's a fantastic subject. What I really love about this image is the light, and it kind of represents everything that I look for in an image when it comes to lighting. What I like about the light in this is that it's not only very soft because we have that fog in there, but we also have some direct sunlight hitting the back of the trees, and of course because they're mossy, it's created this beautiful halo around the trees. And when I zoom in, you can also see all these little cobwebs and everything that have been backlit. So it's created this illusion that the tree is quite well separated from the background, not only because of the backlighting, but also because of the fog in the background. And here's another example, same forest, just a different year. This one is quite a bit more recent than the last one, but it's the same effect. We've created this surreal looking image just because of the lighting. The lighting is everything in this photograph. Now there are some problems associated with this type of lighting or photographing this lighting, and I'm just going to go over those quickly with you. First and foremost, if you have a lens hood, then I highly recommend that you use it because that'll help reduce the sun reaching the front element. If you have any dirt or grime or water drops on your lens, then try and take those off as well, because if you leave them on, then that just creates more problems if the sun again is hitting the front of your lens. Filters I generally leave off when I'm photographing subjects that are backlit like this. The reason being is that it just creates more layers for the sun to go through, and then you're going to have more problems with lens flare, especially if the sun is hitting the front of the lens directly and you're actually including the sun. If you are using filters, then I would recommend again to try and use filters that are of a high quality, that are well coated. The cheaper filters, I mean, they work great in a pinch, but generally speaking, the cheaper filters don't have great coatings on them, so you're going to run into some problems when you're shooting into the sun. And lastly, if you can try and avoid having the sun hit the front of your lens by just shading it either with your hand or a piece of card or anything that you can find, that will really help reduce lens flare. Now, of course, there are other situations where I do want to include the sun, but the problem is, of course, is that as soon as you have the sun coming right into the lens, it's very hard to get rid of that lens flare. So what I do in those situations is I'll take a number of different images with and without the sun. So how do you do that? Well, you could set up your composition and just take your shot with the sun and the lens flare if it's present, and then take another series of images with your hand blocking the sun so that it's not creating that lens flare. Now, of course, you're going to have photographs of your hand, but what you can do is you can combine all of those images together in Photoshop, and that's a great way of getting rid of problems with shooting into the sun. All right, everybody, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions about light, backlighting or anything like that, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'd also like to hear about what your types of favorite lighting are as well, so leave those in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any future videos, make sure you subscribe. I will be putting together another lighting video. The next one will probably be on reflected light. So until then, thanks ever so much, and I'll catch you next time. All right, bye for now.
Stepping on your roller coaster, going down, but I never felt this high. Biggest ride of the century.